All right, we're here with another Indie Comics Exchange creator interview. Today, we have Chance Priest in the studio with us from Victory Comics LLC. Jake and I just finished recording a Comics that Influence where we gushed for 30 minutes, and at the end we said we've got to get both Chance and Jeff on here to answer these questions. And here you are, Jeff. Thank you so much for making the time on this Sunday, Easter Sunday too, to meet with us and share, who you are, what you do, and how you do. So how are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm good every day. Every day.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, so
Now,
we just came across the comic first, and then we saw some of the figures you have online. Um, we all of a sudden got real curious. So could you just tell us, your bio and maybe some of your influences?
before he does, I just want to give credit where credit's due. Ken Landgraf, I had a commission done from him for my Crown the Barbarian character, and the sweetheart that he is sent me 2 emails. One of them was of you, and he said, "These are guys that are doing. They have a passion for sword and sorcery. You might want to reach out to them." And when I clicked the link, I was like, I was literally spun off into another world. So yes, as Jake says, please give us, your how you got into this and where you're at.
Uh, Long story, but yeah, I'm Chance Priest. I this is gonna sound like horse shit because I know it does, but back in 2008. Now I've always been into comics, always been into toys my whole life, but I'm talking like even when I found girls, in high school, I didn't matter. But this was back in the late '80s, so that's when you had to be secret. You couldn't tell everybody you were a
Yes.
comic nerd or a toy nut.
Yeah, we're in the
Yep.
closet.
I found the perfect girl who didn't care,
Ah.
so yeah, so we've been together 35 years. So yeah, that's really great.
Congratulations.
Um, no, I actually started a comic book with my best friend Tim Vaughn in high school. Back, I'd probably be about 15 at that time, and I just never fancied. I always drew. I was drawing stuff, but I was more like I like to write up and create characters. That was my thing, and stories. Um, we started with a comic book. I loved his art. He had this like D&D style art, and he would do the
Yeah.
art. So we worked on it for about a year. It never went anywhere. Typical high school. You're all over the place. And that was back in the days when you were a high school kid. You also had a full-time job. So we both had full-time jobs. We both were in martial arts together for years and years. So it just never came to fruition. And I'll be honest, I never felt I was good enough of an artist or like I couldn't do it. Like I just felt like, no, this is, like I just can't keep it up. I can't draw the boring parts. I can draw a big splash or paint a big splash. I can't do all the bullshit parts.
Yeah.
So fast forward to 2008, I've had an incredible life, done all kinds of stuff. Um, I mean, crazy life, lots of stuff. But 2008, I had a dream that I woke up from at like 3 a.m, and I had a pen and paper beside me all the time because I was always coming up with ideas for stuff. And so I drew out this. I literally copied down everything in my dream and a character, and that pushed me into doing this every day with like if I like a bolt of lightning hit me from the sky, man. I mean, from
Wow.
that day on, I was drawing every day. I wanted to have toys made. I wanted to have everything made because I felt like I don't know what it is about a lot of artists. They feel like they can't do it. Like they don't.
Right.
They're not good enough. You know.
Right.
And I finally said, and I went through the process of like even advertising because I had plenty of money. So I was like, I can advertise. I can get an artist. I can pay him. Well, artists, that they either start the project, don't finish, or they drift
Yep.
off, or um, later on they want more money, or nothing
Right.
was working out. So I finally said, fuck it, I'm gonna do it all myself, and I taught myself how to sculpt. I taught myself later on. I taught myself how to make toys, and I got so into the toy making, I literally put the comic on the back burner as I was. I really just wrote stories and fleshed out characters, and then I started making the toys. And I guess it was probably about 2011, 2012. I jumped back on the comic book because I couldn't find it, so I started drawing it myself. Still couldn't get through it. All I want to do is big splashes, big splashes, big splashes. Big battle scenes. Dudes getting their heads cut off, stuff like that. Um, but I kept hammering out the toys, and I guess it was like 2016 or 17. It's crazy. I sold my house, and I had a house completely paid for and everything. I sold my house, and by the way, I've got 4 kids too. So they're all adults now, except for my teenage girl's 16, still with us. All 3 of my boys are adults now, but so I sold my house, gambled on myself big time, and really pushed into making toys and doing it the old-fashioned way, all hand sculpted, all hand molded, hand cast. And after I don't know, a year and a half, I finally felt like I had it good enough to put it out there to the public. I was on no social media. I didn't even know what it was, to be honest with you. I'm an anti, not really like anti-computer. I just never got into it. So my kids, my sons actually said, Dad, you got to get on Facebook. You got to get on Instagram. You have to do, otherwise nobody will know who you are. Nobody will buy nothing anymore. That's the way things work now. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
okay. See, I'm sitting there going like, what trade magazine can I put an ad in? I make toys,
Right.
But
Right.
so I did, and from like the first few weeks, I had so much positive feedback. I was like, man, this is great. And I kept making for about a year. Now, by the way, I'm living off. Now I'm doing. I'm a knife maker too, so I was doing knife work, and and to afford this and the money off my house. And finally, when I released the toys, they were just a massive hit. We sold out. We sold like $30,000 worth of toys in 2 minutes when I opened it up
Oh.
yeah, like the very first
And
night.
chance.
We did a live deal on Facebook.
So this is 2012
No, now we've moved all the way through. It was
to.
I opened the toys up for sale in like 2019 or
Oh,
2020.
okay, okay.
2018.
Okay, yeah. That's the number I had come across. And then the social media you jumped onto that I think you still get a lot of support through is Facebook. Is that correct?
Facebook is where I get the most support
Is
from.
that okay?
Mhm.
All right. Yep.
And then it's been like our only, like that's what we do for a living ever since then. We just make toys. And
You got the whole family going?
well, I mean, I did while they were young, but my boys, they have their own businesses, and now they make me look like a pauper. They do so well, at all their businesses, and
Yeah.
so
Well,
yeah, it's just me now. me and we one guy that actually was a fan of ours, back in like 2017, 18, something like that. I guess it's been almost 4 years ago. He moved here, and he's my full-time painter and best
Oh,
friend.
wow.
Does everything. I mean, he
Right.
basically lives right here. We work
Cool.
7 days a week at the factory. We call it the factory. It's just it's
Right.
like a 4,000 square foot workshop. So
Yeah. I've seen
Wow,
the videos.
So cool. What a great story. And so when did the comics come along?
okay, the comics. I think it was 2019 was the first time. Jeff had done some work for another toy maker, and I saw that, so I contacted him. We talked on the phone. I said, "Hey, man, let's do some." He was all in right away. Let's go. Let's do comic books. So I would send him the scripts, and my scripts are like teleplays. You know, that's this is how old fashioned I am. I read a book on how to do a teleplay in the 50s, you know, an old 1950s book. And it said, oh, cool. So you kind of like say, this guy does this guy does that. And then you say what he says. And then he goes, this guy moves like this and does like that. And then you write that. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So I sent him the teleplays and he'd make the comic books. Now he's doing those comic books 100% by hand.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
No computers. The coloring and everything's by hand.
And how do the breakdowns of the action page by page and the dialogue come together?
So yeah, I sent him the what's happening in the scene, and then the dialogue, and then he fleshes it all out into the comic book.
So I meant to ask you before, but is this like a Stan Lee kind of format where he would just tell Jack Kirby the basics of outlines and
No,
then no?
mm-mm.
Okay. So
This is very detailed.
how
And
does it come back? How does it come back with the dialogue? Is this all you, or is that
yeah,
the
no, the
and he
dialogue's
does the visual?
100% me, and I actually fleshed the character out for him. So I'll send him like everything that like the attitude of this character. This guy's like this guy's like that, and we go, of course, back and forth on some of it. You know, like he'll like, well, you know, like he gives me like a pencils. He'll send the pencils, and I'll say, yeah, that's right, or oh no, that guy doesn't have this, or this can't be here, and then he erases it or whatever. But most of the time, it just works out pretty darn good. You know, like he gets and you know, and I put what action I want. Like this guy's standing here in front of a forest or in front of a deal. And then of course, since I've made toys of all of it, it's real simple for me to do a 360 of the toy, and then
Oh.
he knows what the guy looks like.
That's what killed Jake and I is we put that together in the comics that influence and said, I mean, how lucky could you be as an artist where the creator is sending you figurines of what you're supposed to draw, and you can sit there and turn around and be like, oh yeah, I got this, Chance, don't worry, you know. It's so awesome. It's so awesome.
It does make it even as I draw my own stuff. It's so much nicer to have a 360 of the figure because I'm like wanting a quarter angle or something like that. And I can just turn it right there, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Well, yeah, it's life drawing. It's still life. At that, it becomes like still life, but you're basically life drawing. You can see it in the round, and you can get all the shading, you want, just by adjusting the lighting on it. And it's
Richard Corbin used to do a lot of figurines. There's supposedly going to be something coming out about those figurines. I don't know if it's going to be like a little mini documentary or something like that. So, because he had like shelves of heads of just characters like Den and the such.
So you gave Jeff a toy for each one, a figurine for each one of these characters that are here in this book, right?
Well,
now?
I would usually either video or take 360 pictures, you know, all the way around, and then send him the photographs. So he had the pictures of the figures.
Nice.
Right, and I forgot from before. How much is one of your figures retail for?
Well, prior to COVID, everything was $50 a figure. Like you would get a packaged figure like that.
Damn, look at that. Oh,
you know, in the package.
Wow.
And I mean that's completely handmade and hand painted. You get that for $50. But
and is that a limitation?
What's that?
Is that a limitation casting?
Oh yeah, everything's limited. Nothing's unlimited that I do. Yeah.
Wow.
Everything's like most of the figures that we put out that are what we call the runs, the waves. They all are usually up to like 50 to I think our biggest wave was wave was it two? Wave 2 or 3? I can't remember. But there were 100 of each figure. But most of them were just like 50 or 60 of each figure.
Right. And they've gone up in price. They've gone up in price from $50 when COVID hit, or they're still at 50.
Basically, what happened is all of our materials doubled. To this point, all of our materials have doubled. We'll just say like pre-COVID, 10 gallons of plastic was delivered was about $550. Now it's $1240 for the exact same stuff.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
Whoa!
because it's
Oh
petroleum
man!
based.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so what you end up having to all we've done is like when you buy a package figure like that, now it's 75
Okay.
per figure, But we do sell blanks. We sell unpainted blanks, and they have been 25 for the longest time. They'll have to go up to 30 here recently. But yeah. So if just like I'm a big D and now, don't get me wrong, I've never played D&D in my life, but I love it. Even when it was new, I bought the figurines and painted them, and then I bought the books just to look at the art. Because
Right.
that's my favorite
Right.
art. Old D&D art's my favorite, by
It's
far my favorite
obvious.
art.
It's obvious.
Right. And what about the comics that you made before? Do you still have those?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Every book everything I've ever done, I kept. Yeah, and I paint a lot of stuff for the for the packaging, for everything we do, and then like the latest book that we're doing is I'm doing a mission to hell route. There's the whole book right there, hand
Oh
drawn,
wow!
that I did, and
Oh wow!
And
yeah.
and Chance, has the comic been successful too?
Okay, well, like the first comic we put out, we it was limited to 200, and we sold out of those immediately. So, but what was funny is when the comic company shipped them, and we get everything printed in Minnesota. When they shipped the comic book to us, they didn't package them right, and every corner got damaged, like hit. And I'm an
Oh
old time comic
man!
collector, so that was like a big deal to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but they were so cool. Immediately they said, no problem, keep those, we'll send you another 200. So
Right.
so
Wow.
basically we had the first 200 that were pretty much all mint, and then the second 200 that we had were the bangers, and we've still got some of those floating around. But yeah, we've probably sold like total 350 of the first issue.
Wow.
And Chance, what do you think about the potential for selling more comics and maybe using other artists as well?
Yeah, well, Jeff's actually not going to do book 5. He
Right.
started book 5, and I think he's got time. He's got a situation with time. Time and money. Everybody. Well, that's everybody.
Right.
Time and money, right?
Right.
So I'm going to take up book 5 and go ahead. I can actually draw pretty damn fast.
Uh huh.
I would love to have somebody else get on it, because I'm working on. Like I say, this is also everything I do is in the same universe, right? So, but it's happening on different parts of different planets, or different parts of that planet, or a moon
Yeah.
of that planet, something like that. So, I would love to have multiple artists working. I'd love to have the numbers go up, but I honestly, I don't put ourselves out there as much as I should.
Yeah.
I really am I'm a hermit, and I sit here and I make toys like crazy. That's my
Yeah.
But
Well,
main.
that's
the
why network here with
so
you.
yeah, that actually brings us into the promotion part of the segment, as a segment is. So you're saying that the majority of where you're getting your fan base from is Facebook.
Oh yeah.
And then and you have your own website. So that's victorycomicsllc.com, right?
Uh,
Is it?
no, you go to Wotu. It's
Ah,
Warriors of the Universe.
right.
Wotu.toys is the way you get there.
Okay.
Wotu.toys.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't do that. I can't make a website. I'm telling you, I don't know nothing about the computer.
Wotu,
Uh,
folks, is for Warriors of the Universe, right?
yeah,
So
Wotu.toys.
WOTU.toys. I'm on it right now. So then you get some of the logos and you get the pictures loading. So people should definitely go there and folks, I would buy some of those unpainted ones if you can, afford it. So everybody get
Yeah,
your
that's what
hands
I
on one
tell
of these.
people. If you
Yeah.
can't afford the regular runs, then the wave figures, or even we also have an auction on Facebook and Instagram every Sunday night. There'll be one tonight, and anything new that we do, uh, we've been doing this. We've been doing those auctions for like 4 years straight. Like, I mean, hardly miss a night, you know.
Wow.
And then we'll have
Wow.
usually we'll have anywhere from like 10 to 20 to 30 figures for auction, and
Oh, hey,
and
Chance,
then all
hold
the
that thought.
prototypes go out.
Yeah, hold that thought for one sec. Kurt, I
Yeah,
told you about these
Yeah.
auctions right on Facebook. Uh, Now, Chance, are you taking actual bids right in the comments?
yeah, that's what. Yeah, yeah, it's just I
Kurt, I
take it in
told
the
you
comment
about
and I time it, you know.
You can yell at me later. You can yell at me later.
No, we heard about this we heard about this like kind of like museum of curiosities type business, and it's like this big flea market, and they have very weird objects, but they have a big following of like you know little bodies in jars and stuff and
Yeah,
oddities, and they've been doing this for 4 years online, right on Facebook.
yeah.
So they have a big following, and sounds like you've been doing the same thing. So you have a bunch of people that come in and they bid on your figurines, and you
Hmm.
could conceivably get a lot more people taking a look at your next auction.
Yeah, it and it varies, you know, like this is Eastern, you know, Eastern night, you know. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it could suck, you know, and we usually have them it's weird the way Sunday night falls. A lot of times we have Christmas Eve auctions, and we just go ahead and do them. And
Right,
I tell people, hey, if the stuff isn't bringing you know, X or Y, it's okay. That's you know, that's the way it goes. You get a good deal. The people, anybody that knows auctions real good, if you follow an auction diligently, there'll be a night where you kill the guy selling. You know, I mean, you're going to get a good deal. You know, because
right.
not enough people show up or something like that. You know.
And Chance, you could also show the replay of auctions all throughout the year, so people can see what they could have been bidding on, right?
Right. The guy that does our website, Alan Irwin, he like who he does everything. Like he loads pictures. I don't even half the time I don't even know what's on there because he's loading stuff and he's a computer guy, you know.
Right.
So he posts our copy of our auctions on there, but the
Yeah.
auctions is really where we make our income more than
Wow.
the regular sales. The auctions is what's really good. Well, usually we'll have like a prototype come up. You just say like a figure like this, okay, and you'll do him, and you'll say, okay, this is prototype one, and I painted it, and then we'll have another prototype that our master painter, everybody calls him. His name's Aaron Arthur Anderson. AAA painted. So those two will be protos, and then we do a glow proto, an EOD, which is a multicolored, non-painted figure. It's just multicolored, it's a plastic, really psychedelic looking. And then
Uh-huh.
we'll do what I call a carnival because I'm old school. I love the old carnival prizes. So I do one that has pigments and then glitter and and it's kind of wild. But yeah, so we'll do those 5 prototypes will sell from a new figure. Now, what's funny is tonight, y'all just asked me about this. Tonight, we don't have any prototypes. We actually will be doing what's called Universe of the Warriors tonight, which I know it's reversed from Warriors of the Universe, but we knocked off our own toys. So we have a knockoff line that are shittier but really cool, well done. I mean, really, but they're like shittier versions of these figures. Like you could get this guy, you know, who's got
Oh.
all that crazy detail, and I mean, you know, but you can get a crappy version that's just kind of a smooth bodied where we splatter paint on there, and you know they're and they're cheaper. They're half. They start out half of what these guys would start out at. You know.
And Chance,
All
let me
right, so Jake, let
hold
me
on.
jump in here.
Well,
Let
yeah,
me jump in.
I just wanted to ask because you got some real interesting business models. What
That's
Chance?
called insanity.
What would you say to some comic store owner that was listening to this right now? How can he
Wow,
get involved?
that's
Oh yeah, well we've actually had multiple comic book stores buy our
Please,
figures. Um, And basically, what I tell them, you know, I work them out a wholesale deal as good as I can. But these are, you know, I mean, these are like every one of them's like a handmade. Everything's different. We have no Like when you look at a figure, okay, like this right here, it's got a lot of different color patterns and stuff like that. We don't use a template, so there's no masking done ever. Like where most people that do multiple figures, they'll mask and spray, mask, spray, mask, spray. No, everything's brush painted, and
Huh.
and so I tell them, I can only go to a certain price on these, but yeah, I mean, we try to work out deals with them all the time, to give them as many figures as we can. And sometimes they ask for stuff like we can't give them, like they want exclusive stuff, or
Right.
they want us to basically make them a whole line of figures, and
Shoot.
we're just not big enough. We're not big enough yet, and we
Yeah.
like
What
doing
about?
it handmade. We don't want to change our
Yeah.
uh, our way.
So you're actually endorsing what Jake and I had thought, and we had said there in the beginning, whether it was recorded or not. But you have literally created your own industry. I mean, even doing knockoffs of your own work, proves that. So my question, just rough off the top of your head, Chance, how many fans do you feel like you have paying you consistent attention?
I don't. It varies. It varies. I
Okay.
mean, you might open an auction up and have 40 people on. You might open
Yeah.
an auction up, you have 20 people on. You know,
Yeah.
when COVID was on, it
Still
was it was
busy.
the best thing that ever happened to us,
Right.
because
Right.
we had just gazillions of people on. Money was flying like crazy, and
Yeah.
I mean, we had prototypes bringing $1,500 a piece
Whoa.
during COVID. Yeah. So,
Whoa.
I mean, most of the time now, a prototype, depending on who's there on what night, it can bring anywhere from $100 to $300. That's pretty. But I would say average, like say this, if this came out a fresh painted, I did it all prototype, it might bring about $250, $300, something like that. But during COVID, that would have brought at least $500. You know, or like during that
Wow.
2 year span.
Wow. So it's auctions on Facebook and whatnot.
No,
No,
Facebook,
no, no. Right.
Facebook under Warriors of the Universe, which is our group,
Okay. Okay.
and then Victory Comics LLC on Instagram.
Okay. Okay. And
So
then
those are
your
the two.
your IT guy, your web guy is running all of that.
No,
No,
uh,
you're doing all the posting and then moderating.
yeah, I just put the phone up there. I have two phones, and I stick them side by side, and I put on at the same time, and then I just show you the shit, and you say I'll buy that, or I'll buy, you pay, and I watch
Right.
everything, and then
Wow.
and then my wife is over there on the side, and she writes it all down, and that's it, and then she does the
Right.
shipping and everything.
Yeah.
So just technically on the payment part, because there's no payment on let's say the auction on Facebook or Instagram. So then
Right.
you're sending them an invoice through PayPal, or they have
Yeah.
to
No,
immediately within a period of time go somewhere and deposit that money.
no. We drive to their house. No, I'm just kidding. No,
COD.
Carrie takes every form of payment. She does. She knows all that stuff. They also, hey, something about Zelle or something. I don't even know what that is. So she goes, but she handles all that, and
Yeah.
and she sends them a message and links and a invoice and all that stuff, and she handles payments.
Right.
And some people spend a whole bunch of money, and so she puts them on a payment plan, and she keeps up with that too. Like I tell
Man.
people all the time, without Carrie, without my wife, I'd be living under a bridge, scratching, or carving figures out of sticks, that kind of thing.
Folks, support this small business because it will behoove you in the long run if you get these great collectibles. Yeah, so that was really interesting. Now, what about conventions and contacts in the comic book industry that you're making? Because it seems like you could take some of these characters and launch them into comic worlds that are already going on, right?
Yeah, like I want to get bigger into the comic books. uh, one of the guys that does a lot of art for us, David Christopher. He's on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff like that. Uh, and you can find his artwork through our stuff. He's an incredible artist, and he's been working on a comic book called Tales of Wotu, Tales of Warriors of the Universe. And so it's got a story run. A lot of these stories run simultaneously, but
Uh-huh.
they all crisscross and bend into each other. I'm a big Easter egg guy. I love just putting something in there and people go like, "What the hell was that all about?" You know, you find out later. You know, that kind of deal. I read I like lived comics from the 70s and the 80s and through about like early 90s, and that's going to be my where my focus is on like the way comic books are written. I loved reading Conan, Amazing Spider-Man, you know, stuff like that. So that's where my mind is at, you know. But and then of course I just finished that book there, and we're going to have it printed maybe here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And for the first time ever, I'm going to get on and try to do a Kickstarter, or what's the other Indiegogo or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to do something like that to just show other people, hey, we're doing stuff, you know.
Yeah, that sounds great.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, get crowdfunded like that. And if you had to say how many characters you've created, how many would you say it was?
Okay, well, when I first started, okay, like I said, I'm when I say self-taught, like I'm a little embarrassed, but I didn't realize there was this thing called YouTube where you could like figure out, like people actually show you how to do stuff. I thought YouTube was just full of like porno videos. I didn't know, you know. So I never got on there or nothing. And when I started making, I actually, this is the first style of figure that I made, and I carved this out of wood, and then I sculpted the head, and so I love folk art. And when people call me a folk artist or outside artist, that's what most people call me. Yeah. Skinner actually just commented the other day. He said, "Hey, dude, you're the best outsider artist going, man." I said, "Dude, all right, I like that." I said, "Better outside than inside." You know, but no, I said, you know, like I always think of myself as kind of like a folk artist. Anyway, so I started making these, and then I've always loved Master of the Universe, so I like that size figure. So then I came up with these, and these, of course, are a lot harder to sculpt, and the engineering to make the arms move and all that stuff like that are tough. When I first started making them, they had 5 points of articulation. I realized we're dealing with adult collectors; they don't need all that. And I get more detail if the less articulation, the more detail I get, the better I like them. Because
I
when you have,
was saying that to Kurt about the comics. You know, I said the characters look like they're a little stiff, even when they're in action scenes, and it looks like they're all on purpose. You know.
yeah, no,
They're being drawn. They're being drawn from a figurine.
Jeff has his way. His art style is very unique. You know, I mean, he has his way. You know, and if you look at like the way David Christopher draws his, you can dig around on Facebook and look at Tales from Wotu and see some of his stuff. It's crazy. He's more what I would call like a fine artist. A lot of people call him the Wotu's Frazetta, you know, because he's very fantastic. I mean, his art is freaking nuts.
Say his name
but
again.
It's a different style, you know, and then my art is like I always call my art talented 10-year-old, you know, because that's what I feel like I'm doing, you know.
Chance, what was the name of that artist one more time?
David Christopher.
David Christopher. Maybe Kurt could flash something on the screen. David Christopher.
Absolutely.
So you are working with a couple different people creating art, and I'm just wondering because if you're the Stan Lee of your world, and you got this whole metaverse going on where anything's
I'm a big
possible.
Kirby fan, so I don't like to be called Stan Lee. So
Right. That's
I'm a huge Kirby's my big my if I have to pray to the altar of a comics guy, it's going to be Jack Kirby. So
Right,
well, yeah.
right.
I'm like that too when it comes to Commandy. So what's your number one Jack Kirby title?
uh bingo man, Commandy. Yeah,
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 it's
really?
gotta be. It's gotta
Commandy's it.
be.
Yeah.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did the first 20 issues on our comics that influence.
Uh-huh.
The first 20 episodes of that are Commandy. So
Oh yeah.
Commandy 1 through 20. So yeah, we were just in awe. I had every copy, finally, and Kurt had the printed like tablet book that you get, and the colors were just so terrible, when they just recolor it nowadays with some intern, and it was just
Uh,
awful. I'd rather see the original comic. But when I was going through them, I had cut pictures out. I had cut like panels out. So I was just like in horror. Look at what I did to these comics when I was a kid.
yeah.
So,
No, I've
Chance.
had a full run of Commandy since I was like, 18 years old, so 32 years.
Nice,
So
nice.
and now I own probably like four full runs of Commandy, and at one time I owned a lot of the original art out of Commandy, and uh, we used to have several businesses, and I had plenty of money flow, and I had some Jack Kirby covers. I had some crazy Kirby stuff at one time,
Yeah,
and really to funnel into this business, I've just sold a lot of the big dollar stuff that I had, and it
Wow.
helped a lot to get to where I'm at. And
yeah, yeah. Well, Kirby's a
So,
part of all of our lives. And have you
right,
ever,
right, right.
Kurt? I know we're probably running low on time, but I wanted to know: have you ever delved into animation? Because it sounds like you're.
Well, that was the question I was actually going to say. Is he actually has a short film on YouTube, and it's called "Sacrifice at the Altar of Kutu." And do
it
you
was
know who Bill Black is? Bill Black is of AC Comics. Are you familiar with Bill
no,
Black and
I
AC
probably
Comics? I'm going to send you a link. It is you go ahead and explain it and I'll throw a link up directly to that video in the description. But not that I was ever on the doubts with you, Chance, but when I saw this video, I was just hands down. This is the man. So tell us about Sacrifice at the Altar of Kutu.
uh well, I'll tell you what, we dude, making movies has been like, it has been my plan since the start. Like
Right.
this,
Right.
to me, all this other stuff, it really has been peripheral, and the comic book to me was really just trying to get storyboards done, and and so, and now this is going way back. I've since like really turned my focus on comic books, but yeah, to make movies it takes a lot of money, right? And I've never, I'm not gonna lie. Before COVID, I was in talks with a Netflix producer to do a possible
Whoa.
animated show, and but I was really determined to do. I want to do live action, and I want to do live action with no computer.
Right.
I like
Well,
Yeah.
you're
I like
talking about
real effects.
animatronics, but you could also add like all kinds of you know you could, I mean, what I would like to see more of is like 2D animation superimposed on 3D animation, and
Hmm.
or combined when necessary. Kurt and I used to be into Flash animation when it first came out, and I did a couple of music videos of a cartoon character. Kurt was doing lots of different animation too when it first came out, on Flash, and kind of it kind of faded out as a tool. Now it's like part of like some Adobe package, but you got the stop motion possibility. if you have the figures, you know,
Yeah.
and that means
You know,
anybody
like
could do it, you know,
a,
like
a, a lot of
even
this is kind of like I'm open to. I've always been open to people that contact me and say, "Hey, I want to do this or I want to do that." One of the problems I had dealing with the producer situation was them taking over my idea, you know, and I was just like, you
Right.
know, well, this character's like this, you know.
right,
If you don't like that he does this, so that's tough shit, you know. Like, but they were like, no, you know, you can't, you know, you don't have the say so. And I was like, well, if I don't have the say so, then I want to do it. I mean,
right,
I'm not here to get rich or to be famous. Like, that is not my intention at all. I want, but I would like my characters to be famous. You
right,
know,
Good.
I care a lot about
Right.
these guys. You know, they're like, I tell people they're. I mean, I have 4 children, but right after them, these characters everything to me.
yeah,
And and on certain
That's
days,
awesome.
they're better. You know, just, because I can control them.
yeah, man. We got
No, I want to do it my way. Uh, and,
yeah, no,
I
that's
don't
good,
care if
man.
people go like this guy was some crazy fucking he was out in the country making movies. You know, that won't bother me. You know, uh,
Have you ever seen the movie Equinox?
dude, I worship at the altar of Equinox.
Oh my gosh! So that obviously, all right, and then you've got Laser Blast. Those were the
Like,
2 movies when I was a kid in the '80s.
yeah,
That, I mean, though, you had to get the hell out of the living room because I was watching that and didn't want no disturbance whatsoever, man.
yeah,
Oh, those were great.
yeah.
I would love to see more stuff like that. And that's what your video really felt like. So no, you're actually you're in line. So with that, I want to stay focused on our last question here, which is the future of comics. But because you're this, industry, business, what are you seeing, for yourself, but also on the outside? You've got excellent reception, but what do you see as the future, especially with good old AI coming into the picture?
Well, I fucking hate AI and like beyond like I one of my favorite movies of all time is the first Terminator. Okay, and if that
Yeah.
don't tell you everything you need to know,
Yep.
then you're dumb.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
All true.
Uh, uh, and when these people I really don't want to like okay. I don't like computer art. I don't like 3D printed nothing. I don't like none of that shit. Okay, but I understand if you're doing it and you love it, good for you. That's fine. I'm just saying I don't like it. I
Right.
don't want to do it,
Right.
and I want to be known as a guy that did everything by hand. Okay,
Right.
AI is another deal altogether. If you sit there and go, computer, give me a T-Rex looking guy with this and that, you know, make him look like that, and then they post it, they go, look at my art. Well, fuck
Yeah.
you. You're an idiot. You know, I mean, that ain't no art, dude. That computer made that. I mean, I can come up with shit that would blow your mind and write it, you know, talking to a computer and make it happen, you know. But I have like very strong feelings about that. And then a lot of times, you know, these people come up with it and they say, oh yeah, by the way, make it look like Frank Frazetta painted it. You know, oh well, gee, let's just do that, you know. Or make it look like shit. I could just sound off a bunch of crap and say, you know, of my own figures and say, oh, just make it look like Jack Kirby drew all this stuff, you know, and then I go, that's my art.
You know,
Well,
I love that you mentioned, you know, those movies. You know, we always try to mention Road Warrior, you know, as a big inspiration for us. And the thing about the Terminator movie, the first one, it's really the point of unintended consequences. When you let loose these programs and these algorithms that are making stuff, you don't know what you're going to get, and you know, and whose art was fed into the computer in the first place, right?
exactly.
Did it belong to somebody? Was it all clear? You
Of
know,
course it did.
did they hire people to make it, or did they buy a clip art
But
collection?
here's my question, because I'm banking on this. And Chase, a chance. Um, you think AI is going to cause people to come running towards people who really honestly are committed to hand making everything? Do you think that could
Okay.
be a possible turn? That backfires on AI and everybody's like, ew, I'm tired of seeing that. Look at this guy. He just made a film in the woods and it's got an animatronic cyclops chasing a girl. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
boom,
love that. Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Right?
Love that. Okay.
What's your take on that?
Okay. My take on that is there's going to be a small percentage of hardcore dudes, hardcore chicks, whatever, hardcore people that are going to say, I love the handmade stuff. I love the way it looks. I love the note. I tell people all this time, what you don't realize about art, it's not, if you just look at my deal and go, oh, that looks cool. I like that. You're probably not the guy I'm looking for. I'm looking for the guy,
Correct.
man, I can't believe that you made
Right.
that with your own hands. Process is
Right.
art. Okay. So
Right.
I think the
Right.
process is everything. Because you can't look at something that was stamped out by a computer and say, oh, well, boy, that's great art. When there's no process there. Okay. So same with a movie. Like, why do we love these movies like Equinox? Because of process. Evil Dead, process. You know, it's the hand making of all this stuff. It's the putting together of footage. It's the imperfections that makes it perfect.
Yes.
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 And it is a look and feel. And I think you're going to have a small percentage of people. It's just like the people that go like, I can't stand the way, you know, there's the indie comic scene, which I really like. And then there's the Marvel, the DC, whatever. Most of that stuff, I can't even stand to look at it. I'll go through.
Right.
I'm just like, this is all garbage, you know.
Yeah.
And like again, I'm not hitting like. I know today on the internet, it's easy to see if you say one thing, people like condemn you immediately. Oh, you're talking. I posted a deal that said absolutely no computers, no AI, nothing. Everything's handmade by us. You would think that would have people go, man, that's great. Hey, thumbs up. Well, yeah, 90% do. Then you have 10% that go, how dare you? I am a artist that uses X computer, Y computer, whatever, and I use AI and all this stuff like that. How dare you? I said, well, no, that's for you to put on your your site. For you to say, hey, I use all this shit. I said, what pisses me off is when these people that do use all that stuff pretend to make it all by hand or to pretend to paint that or something like that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But I do think there'll be a percentage of people and that do go for like I want old school stuff. And if there's not, then I'll be totally unemployed and just sitting there doing it myself. You know, I don't care.
I'm also going to send you a link to Jeff Lafferty. Are you familiar with Jeff Lafferty?
I'll be honest, guys. I'm terrible.
It's okay.
I'm bad with names. Jack,
it's okay.
all I can remember.
It's okay. I'm not even going to say any more about him because he's in our world. Let me just put it that way. He does. He's now working on a stop motion animation short. So
I love
just
stop
want
motion. Love
to
it.
want to give him a shout out and also get you to connect with it. Well, look, we just rounded the 45-minute point. We are always trying to keep these bite sized and let people get back to reading comics.
Sure.
Making them if they do. Now, did you get a chance to look at our Turbo teaser?
I did. Yeah.
Great, because this is it's the indie comic exchange for us. So we do this because Jake and I work every Sunday on making Turbo Pit Fighter, and in kind, you did send 4 comic books to us, and I just have to thank you immensely for that generosity. And we were able to send you the first Turbo teaser. This will actually go out of print in a week, so hold on to that and keep it in the bag, okay, Chance?
Oh, of course it is. I have about 120,000 comics.
So, oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I have a storage that's just unbelievable, full of comic books.
Oh, but we would love to get your feedback in any form, shape, and size about what we're doing, and even if you have some questions, we'd love to answer them. So I turn it back to you.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, give you a chance. Yep.
Okay, you sent me that thing like 2 months ago. I went through it.
Yep.
I can't remember it.
It's all right. It's right here.
Yeah, no, I remember. I was like, man, this. I love the art. I love all the tones and all that stuff like that. Uh, uh, yeah, I thought it was great.
Thank
I was
you.
like, yeah, this is my stuff. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
we're in the
sure.
same camp. We're in the same camp as you, handmade all the way through.
I
Jake's
could,
right
yeah,
now.
like I
Jake's
could
right
tell.
now because we only have Sundays, even while we're doing our interviews and stuff. He's twiddling on his little laptop because we're getting Turbo Teaser number 2 complete, which is the first 12 pages, and he does have a little bit of fine tuning in Photoshop. But I would have to say 98% of making this comic hand lettered. It is
I just
is
put a
what
new
it is.
face on.
So,
I just put a new face on her. I think if you look, this was the face that we're just replacing.
yeah, I'll flash that up. That's great. That's great.
So you know, we do use computers. I'm an art teacher by day in a middle school, and I teach kids how to draw and paint and do inking, and I
So
try to
you're
get.
on the brink. You're on the brink of insanity. Then, if you're teaching kids.
Well, yeah, at middle school particularly.
Yeah.
But I'm the art teacher, so like I try to keep a lot of kids sane, and I try to send them to good high schools by making a portfolio of their examples. And we just found out we got 5 kids going to the High School of Fashion Industries for visual art, and we have 4 kids going to different art schools in the Bronx. So,
Nice.
just trying to help
Yeah,
them. And
that's
then on the
great.
weekends, I do this with Kurt. We used to do some indie comics in the 90s, and we got back together with Kurt, and we're going to be printing up a nice book. And we're just putting out the teaser to kind of promote, that it's
That's
coming.
great.
And we're also going to be doing some writing on Substack where people can read some prose. But we do the reviews, and we review great comics, and we recognize this right off the bat. We got right down the rabbit hole in our last episode. So it was really great, hearing the whole.
Have y'all interviewed Steve McCardle?
Oh, not yet. You're talking about from Vindicator?
Yeah, Vendetta.
Yeah, not. He's on. Yep, 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 yep. And
Yeah,
he's on our list.
Steve and I are friends, and
Oh wow.
Steve has done work for us, cover work for us on upcoming books that just haven't been printed yet. And
Oh wow.
yeah, he's done some killer covers for us. I think 3 different covers for us. And Steve is like salt of the earth, honest, great, handmade,
Yeah. Yeah.
and and he had killer books back in the '90s, and then he got I think Power Comics or something got a hold of him, and then
Yep. Yep.
rejuvenated him, and now
Yep.
he's drawing nonstop. He's a great dude,
Yep.
super guy.
We
Yeah,
also worked with Ken Landgraf too.
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
some stuff from
Ken's
Ken.
done a cover for us. Ken's done one
Yeah.
cover for us. Yeah,
Right.
great dude, great dude. Old
well,
school.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would love to. I would love to talk. For Kurt, and say we would love to combine on a pencil and ink piece for you sometime because we love your work. And
Yes.
I would.
Let's
The
Yes.
do
first
it.
question I
Let's
would
do.
ask.
What?
Yes.
No need. No need. Let's do it.
Uh,
Awesome.
the first thing I
Yeah.
would ask is, do you have a strong female character? Because that's what our comic is kind of representing. Like a woman that's like a little more muscular than the typical.
Well, yeah. I actually. That's funny you say that because like my female characters never look like modern Hollywood. I like I draw beefy girls.
Yeah,
And I don't know. Let me see. I'm not, dude. I'll be honest, man. I'm the worst female artist on the planet
right.
because I've been drawing dudes so long, muscular dudes that I'm just not good. But yeah,
Let's
one of the
folk art.
main characters in coming up, I'm trying to find a damn picture of her that's worth showing y'all.
Well,
Uh,
you don't gotta do it right this second. You don't gotta do it right this second, but we also have another idea that's cooking up. That we are also looking for an artist on. I actually had 2 pages drawn up by a Brazilian guy so far, but it's called B Movie She Devils, and it's a series that's based on kind of like a Russ Meyer type character, but instead of having women with big bosoms, they're just kind of like fit and muscular and stuff. So
yeah. I the only reason I even draw tits on a woman is just to show that it's a woman, you
Right.
know. Uh,
Long hair, right?
because yeah, I mean, because
And then
like
that was
if
all.
you're if you're living in the wilds and stuff, you know, I mean, it's damn it, I got one good picture of her and I can't find it. Anyway, here's a terrible
Send
picture
it to
of her.
me. Send it to me, and I'll throw it up. I'll throw it up on the
Uh,
screen. Send it to me,
there
Jake.
you get to see uh Deity right there.
There you go.
Okay, that's her. She's and what's funny is
I'm
like a lot of
sold.
my characters, they're all in basically a forest of doom or a swamp of doom or everything kills you on the planet, right? Like everything's pretty wild and it kills you, and there's always like this real um, uh, natural savvy girl, woman that helps our characters out, and she just knows like what's poisonous
Oh,
or
that's
what's
cool.
this or what's that. And so yeah,
Like
like
a
from the very
Pocahontas
first.
got like a guide, right?
Yeah, well, she like a got warrior guide. How's that, you know? But yeah,
Right.
she. I do have a problem in a lot of books, not maybe not even comic books, but like movies where they have you know, 100-pound petite women with arms like that big, and they have no superpowers, and they grab 250-pound men, throw them over their shoulder, and beat
Right.
them up. And,
One
you
of
know,
the
I'm like,
tropes.
you know,
Yeah.
you know, I was a police officer for 12 years. So,
Oh wow.
so like,
That
I
doesn't
know
happen.
that doesn't happen. Like, I know for a fact that does not happen. And I've also been in martial arts almost my whole life, you know?
Hmm.
So it's like, I know from experience, you know, like, so let's give them powers or let's give them a way to fight on an equal footing. And so that's what I do in all my books. There's a reason.
Right.
I never like anything that comes out. There's not a reason behind it. Why
Right.
does this
Right.
character do this? How can he do that? Or how can she do that? Like give me more than just cuz, you know.
Right.
Like give me some background. Give me some
Well, some
history, you know.
science and some physics, and and some realism, right? So
Right.
it's good for storytelling because you invest the character. It's more relatable,
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, it sounds like you got great like flowing creative ideas, and it's great. Yeah, what I would say is give Kurt all the info about that character, and you know uh, would love to maybe work
Well,
on.
that's that. Yeah, but the big thing is, Jake, as I say every episode, is we don't do the one and done interviews. So one of the big reasons we do the teasers and we have the second one coming along is you're now on the list, Chance. You'll be getting a copy
Oh,
of the second teaser, and
okay.
of course, if you've got issue 5 or something else that you want to shout out about, but we're actually really looking forward to re-engaging the first 9 individuals, indie comic book creators that we've had on, because that's really what we found over the last 2 years is maintaining attention. Where
Yeah.
we're very maybe even opinionated and stylized, and we only draw so much attention because it's not like these big movies or this Netflix special or this, that, and the other, which is all pretty much controlled crap. But
Thank you. Yes.
and so I cannot thank you enough. When I reach out to creators. I really don't have anything in the way of like, oh, I wonder what it's going to be like based on the art. But let me say something. You are your art. And I have seen you say this before on your social media. I think it was on Instagram or maybe Facebook. And it's been a pleasure to talk to you. And I certainly am looking forward to staying in touch and getting you back on and chatting. But that's
For
all I
sure.
have. Jake, do you have anything else before we let Chance take us out of here?
Nope, that's it. People should check out our other channels. We got the making of Turbo Pit Fighter and comics that influence. And every week, check your feed.
So chances you could give a little shout out to where people can find you, anything you got on the horizons, and then we'll say good day.
Well, like everything I'm doing every day, we work every day. We work 7 days a week, and so the new stuff, new toys. like in this size figure right here, the Warriors of the Universe figures, over 150 different characters. So
Oh my
it
gosh.
produced over 150 different characters. So there's always something new coming out of my brain. I'm always got new stuff coming, and we got um, uh, Vidalia Mission to Hell Route is the new comic book that's finished. All I've got to do, and I know y'all gonna laugh, but I have to take my tracing paper and make areas where I can make word balloons, and then I hand cut them out and I glue them down. And
That's awesome.
so
That's
it's the way I
awesome.
do it.
I
But
love it. I love it. I love
And
anyway,
it.
so I got to do that, and we've got multiple. We're gonna have. I think we already have 5 different covers for that book already made.
Oh
So it's
wow.
gonna have multiple covers, and we'll do some. I'll send y'all the info that's coming out, and then. But Warriors of the Universe is a Facebook group. I'm always posted on there. But Victory Comics LLC on Instagram. Everything I do gets posted on there pretty much.
Okay, great, great. I'll put links down below. But Chance, thank you so very much.
yes,
You bet.
And
You bet.
folks, before you go and you're jumping off this, why don't you jump onto Facebook.com and put in Warriors of the Universe? Maybe you can see one of those auctions, how it works, and see how you can get
yeah,
your hands on something,
Yeah.
or else find something right off the catalog.
Yep.
All
great.
right.
Well,
Thank
all
y'all.
right, Ben. You're welcome. You're welcome, and thank you. And we look forward to hanging
Victory.
out again. Take care.
All right, y'all. Thanks.
Bye, man.